Let's explore the steps and techniques necessary to create this kind of extreme makeover Bodega edition poster. We know there's lots of contrast, and I'm going to show you precisely how to do that using these images from bodegas in our neighborhood. As the semester progresses, we're going to have more images to work from, but here are the basics. We're going to start with our image, and we're going to do the Arias Bodega right by Kimberly's apartment, which I think is maybe somewhere right over there. We're going to, and this is very critical, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up the image. We're going to press Control J to make a copy. I'm looking in the layers palette. I can now see two images. We're never going to touch the background because we might need to come back to it later. So first, Control J. Next, what we're going to do is use the magnetic lasso or the polygonal lasso to create an amazing selection that goes right around the image. So I'm going to be using the polygonal lasso right on the top, and just pretend I'm just doing an amazing job. You might want to actually mix and match so that you're using, for example, the elliptical marquee. Let's put this right there. I'm not going to get that broken ATM. Great. So yeah, sure, I'll do that. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to subtract, like so. I'm going to use the elliptical and I'm going to add. And you're going to notice that I'm holding spacebar to move the selection around. And let's get a nice rounded selection. That looks good. We're just about done. All right, so you guys are going to do a much better job, obviously. So now what we're going to do is press Control C, Control V. And when we do that, what we notice is that we've now got our bodega sort of sliced out because we're going to be enhancing the color and we're going to be applying a smart blur pen and ink technique to the background. So the first thing that we're going to do is looking at just the storefront, we're going to press Control M or go to Image, Adjustments, and then Curves. And we're going to make an S curve, so I'm going to make the darks a little bit darker, the lights a little bit lighter, just like that. And now what we're going to do, and this is pretty important, I'm going to press, actually I'm going to go to, Control U. And what we can do now is we can sort of adjust the hue, right? But that's crazy. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to press Control U again to pull up just the reds and just the blues for something like this. So we'll start with just the reds, and you know what I'll do? I'll jump into 100% so you can see exactly what this looks like. All right, Control U, go from master to red, and what I'm going to do is increase the saturation. So I know that now if I desaturated it, all the reds are now gray. You guys know that. And I'm going to increase the saturation so it looks a little something like that. And we don't want to go super buck wild because that's bananas. We're going to go like this, and now we're going to press OK. The reds look really good. It doesn't look out of the ordinary, but it does look enhanced. I'm going to press Control U again. I'm going to click Master. I'm going to go to blue. And again, I'm going to increase the saturation because we really want the blues in the storefront to pop. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm looking at this graffiti right here. That doesn't look amazing, so I'm going to press S for the clone stamp tool. I'm going to select an area. I'm going to sort of get rid of this graffiti, and it does not have to be perfect. You're going to notice that the bricks are not lining up perfectly, but that's okay. They're just going to be happy that we're getting rid of this vandalism. All right, so you're going to go through, you're going to get rid of the vandalism. We're going to now, and you can sort of fix up these images that they have right now, but let's jump down a layer because we're going to, actually let's take a look at what we did versus the original one. So that's the original. Here's what we did. Now what I'm going to do is switch to layer 1. That's his background image. And I'm going to go to Filter. I'm going to go to Blur. And then I'm going to go to Smart Blur. And when we do that, we can see, and we sort of scroll up, we can see now it sort of looks like a black and white pen drawing, pen and ink, and that's exactly what it looks like. You're going to want to experiment. So I've got my radius at 20, my threshold at 30. We're going to want to make sure the quality is high and that the mode is edge only. So you might see it at normal and medium, but that's not what we're looking for at all. So we're going to make it high, we're going to make it edge only, and we're going to press OK. And it's going to take a second because we're applying a filter to a pretty high res image. And there we go. So now we got something that looks like this. This It's kind of scary. To invert the colors, we're going to press Control I. And now when we do, we've got pretty nice contrast between this bodega and the background. That looks really cool. So we're right on our way. We now need to include the owners of this bodega, and I think these are the kids of the owners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this dude. You're going to make a great selection. I did not a wonderful selection, but that's okay. You're going to do Control M or go to Image, Adjustments, Curves, and you're going to want to make sure you do curves on just about everything. So I'm going to go like this. Control T. Let's make him a little bit smaller. So he's about that big. We're going to do the same thing. Control C, Control V, and we're going to overlap them just a little bit. All right. You're going to put their names. I'll give you their names and all the text later on, but you're going to want to make sure you sort of put it right over their image, maybe like just under their face. So I'm going to go to Control M to do curves one last time. We're going to make the darks a little bit darker, lights a little bit lighter using the S curve. Great. So now what we need to do is write the text that says, "Welcome to Arya's grocery store." I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. I'm going to select a blue, and then I'm going to make the blue a little bit more blue by just jumping up to the corner. You're going to write, let's see, you're going to write "Welcome to," and then this one is the Arya's grocery store. But here's what's kind of cool. So we've got that blue selected, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rectangular marquee. And what side should we have it on? Let's have it going from left to, you know what? So it's going to depend on the image. I think what you're looking at really influences where you're going to put this text. So this left side is far prettier than this right side, right? This right, we see the detail on the bricks. That looks pretty cool. This, not so much. So let's cover it with this, cover this side with the bulk of the text. So I'm gonna use the marquee tool to create kind of like a banner like so. And I'm gonna create a new layer above this image. I'm gonna use the paint bucket. I'm going to press the eyedropper tool real quick. I'm gonna make the blue just a little bit bluer. I'm going to press G for paint bucket. Bam. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to multiply. I like that. I think this looks pretty cool. Again, if you need to go back and change the size of this, you can simply press Control T and it influences what it looks like, but that looks pretty nifty right there. We're going to do blue and white, white and blue, and I'm selecting blue because blue is prominently featured in this awning. I'm going to switch to white now. You're going to write Arya's grocery store. You're going to want to use a fun font, not a crazy font, not like some kind of like Halo font, but something simple, legible, that people can read from a distance. So if you find one that you like, so let's say, for example, this one, hypothetically. In fact, I would actually get one that's a little bit more bold, and I'm actually going to show you how we can do that very quickly. So all right, so let's say this is what we were looking at. I'm going to reduce this edge of the banner. I'm going to now press T. Oops. I'm now going to press T. I'm going to click right here so I can see that we're on the text layer. And if I click this icon, what I know is that we've got a number of options that we can use to manipulate the way this text looks. I'm going to click this first one. This makes it bold. And when we do, it's just a little bit more heavy, a little bit more legible from the distance. I'm going to drag this over. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to now press T. I'm going to click here. I'm going to change it from white to blue. I'm going to write "Welcome to" right above. Control T. And after you get a nice size, to make the text a little bit more legible, to have some contrast, I would encourage you guys to consider adding a outer glow. It's going to make your text pop just a little bit more. And let's experiment. Let's see what this looks like. not too much, but it looks good right there. All right, so you're going to add some text in the lower right-hand corner that includes features or qualities of the restaurant that you want to promote. This is a nice start to this poster. They're going to be thrilled when they see your work. You're going to put the AEP logo in the lower right-hand corner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.